Today we will be talking about a training manual for our office by Vanessa Fabella, Professor Meyer, Legal Studies 410. What's our company's mission statement? To ensure that all employees feel safe in a well-established, productive, and safe environment that cultivates the creativity and ingenuity of all individuals. And that's directly from our management team. We're here to talk to you today a little bit about your rights, a little bit about what we do as a company for you, and to ensure that we're all able to co-work safely and productively. A great example, which is not an accurate representation of how the office really is, but it's a funny anecdote that I'm going to incorporate here today, is Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. If you've ever watched Netflix, which I'm sure all of you have, it's a very hilarious show, which kind of goes into the interworkings of an office, and they go through hilarious moments in the office, which we're going to kind of touch on here a little bit today. Topics to cover: employee relations, discrimination in the workplace, sexual harassment, labor laws, employment benefits, and if you have any questions. An important note here is in the picture you see Michael Scott looking over at Dwight's computer, probably without his authorization. So a good note is that if someone's on their computer, maybe ask before you turn over to look at it. Employee relations. Now, specifying an exact relationship between an employee and an employer, a written document definitely helps identify the nature of the duties and the role associated of that employee. So it's important that you know that you have a copy of your contract. It's important to look over that contract and understand what your duties are and what your employer's duties are as well. The written agreement is what is considered an employment agreement. As our company, we are very careful whether the employment duration will remain at will or for a specified time period, which you can find in subsection 1 of your employment contract. If you have any questions about your employment contract, I encourage you to contact our HR department. And if you look to the right of my screen, just giving you a little more life to this presentation, you'll see an employee relationship blossomed from the office of Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, and you will see Pam and Jim Beasley. So if you are possibly looking for love, you might find it in the office, but make sure to fill out a love contract if you are looking to pursue a relationship with a coworker. Discrimination in the workplace and sexual harassment. Now, like I said before, while the TV show The Office is a hilarious icebreaker to start off our slideshow, it's not at all an accurate representation of how this company is run, or many companies in the United States. One right that you need to really know is that Title VII of Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits employment discrimination on the basis of race, color, gender, religion, or national origin. Sexual harassment is also included among the prohibitions. Now, it's important that you all feel respected, as we encourage everyone to know and identify that we as a company respect our employees, our employers, and any coworkers that we might come about. As we are a big corporation, you may see independent contractors coming in and out, so it's important to know that everyone who works in an employment capacity at this company is respected. And if you feel any different, we encourage you to put that into fruition and talk to our HR department, and whatever feelings you have need to be known. I encourage you to have an open line of communication with our HR department. Moving forward, our company will provide its employees with convenient, confidential and reliable mechanisms for reporting any incidents of sexual harassment and retaliation. And not only those two topics, if you feel discriminated in any way, please reach out to us. Accordingly, we have designated two employees, you both know them, as your managers, and they also serve as investigative officers for any sexual harassment issues. The names, responsibilities, and any other identifying information will be routinely and continuously posted so that an employee seeking such name can enjoy anonymity and remain inconspicuous to all the employees in the office in which one works. So if you do have a complaint or an allegation against a person, we encourage you to speak to them because we are able to provide you with a blanket of anonymity to a certain extent. So if you have questions about that, like I said, I encourage you to either let your managers know or the HR department. Regarding a little further, kind of deep delving into discrimination. In dealing with gender issues, keep in mind that none of the actions need make the workplace stilted and formal. I encourage you to respect each other without discriminating against each other. The old saying goes, as if you have nothing nice to say, then don't say it at all. I encourage you to follow that rule and keep in mind the golden rule as we were taught in school. Treat others as you would like to be treated. Labor laws. This is the fun one. If you look to your right, you will see bobbleheads of the office. We have Dwight, Jim, Pam, Phyllis, Toby, who is an HR representative, a few other characters that I can't remember the names of. But private employers are free to negotiate wages, hours, and other terms of conditional employment. So as we are a private employer, it's important that we negotiate a fair wage for you, and it's important that you keep an open line of communication and let us know what you feel is fair as well, and that's how your contracts are created. Additionally, the four main labor law statutes, they form a framework in which employers and employees may address workplace issues with some predictability. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about your labor laws, I encourage you to do some research on the National Labor Relations Board. It's a federal administrative agency, and it is delegated to provide judicial enforcements of the orders of that agency. You know, they're there to protect you, as our company is as well. But if you are interested, I encourage you to learn more about the NLRB. Employment benefits and protections. Family medical leave laws, the Bush administration actually extended those to better serve you, to cover military and families for being cared for during deployment or after returning an injury. So if you're a veteran or are currently serving a military term, I encourage you to look at your FMLA options. All of our communications about your benefits in your plan are clear and written in a way that a reasonable person would understand. However, if you feel any different, please, like I said, be communicative. Ask your HR rep questions if you don't understand your contract. And if you make any changes or you'd like any changes to be made, those need to be communicated in writing, and vice versa. If we decide to make any changes, those need to be communicated and agreed upon in writing as well, depending on your contract. Under the Pension Protection Act, an additional communication requirement is necessary if we are a public company, which we are. So, like I said, the open line of communication is vital to things running smoothly, efficiently, and respectfully in our environment. Lastly, individuals who act as employees, who perform fiduciary acts on behalf of our corporation. are aware for a broad-scale adoption of expanding definition of fiduciary, and that tends to include them. So if the scope of your duties are confusing, or you want to know, you know, what this broad-scale adoption entails, our HR department would be happy to relay that to you if you work in accounting. So please talk to them. I probably couldn't examine the broad scale adoption of your fiduciary acts. However, if you discuss with them, then you can look over the terms of your contract with your HR department. Questions. Does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? If you feel uncomfortable to talk about them out loud in front of everyone, what you can do is there's a comments box outside my office, and you can anonymously write a question you have, and it will be addressed in a generic memo to the whole office in case someone has that similar question. And it will be addressed, and everyone will know with you having anonymity. So I know that was fun, and that was a lot to go through. So let's do an activity icebreaker. What did you learn that you didn't know? Have you ever seen The Office? Did you know about your labor laws? Did you know about family medical leave and rights extended to military? It's a lot of information, but it's really good for to know as an employee. And I hope in our last time here today, I encourage you to pair up with someone that you haven't met in the office before and let them know what you learned from this presentation. After 10 minutes, we'll go ahead and share what we've learned with everyone. Happy working, and thank you for listening to my presentation.